So, how do you follow NXT TakeOver or Evolution? A 2-hour action-packed event that ended with the culmination of an entire run of having the good guy finally win the big one in the very end. He followed up with tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. Oh my. I'm sure I'm not the last reviewer to make that reference, and I definitely am sure I'm not the first. Let's talk TLC, shall we? And of course, my nose itches just right as soon as I get on camera. So we're in Disney here. We're going to talk a little bit about TLC-S. And Cleveland, Ohio was the home of the pay-per-view last night. And a pay-per-view that I probably could have went to, maybe, potentially. I don't know anybody, personally that might want to go to Cleveland, but it's not far from me. I mean, it's a couple hours away, but that's still not far. Technically, I could have went, I guess, but obviously I just got back from Orlando, so that wasn't going to happen. And I spent a pretty penny at NXT TakeOver or Evolution on Thursday, so probably never would have happened, but I could have. We're at least in Ohio, so it was close. So let's talk about the show, shall we? We started off with the kickoff, and the kickoff, of course, had one match, and the one match this time being a tag team match with Goldust and Stardust taking on the New Day. The New Day, of course, being represented this time by Kofi Kingston and Big E, who still has no Langston to his name. I guess he's just Big E now. And Xavier Woods is basically the cheerleader at ringside. He's valeting for his team now. I hope that they end up doing Kofi and Xavier teaming up with Big E being the muscle at ringside. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. So right away the commentary team start making random pop culture references. First off, Stardust comes out and he's wearing green and gold face paint. And immediately they jump to the Great Gazoo, which is an immediate tie-in to the fact that we're getting a WWE Flintstones crossover animated movie coming out next year. So, yeah, obviously got to promote that. Not going to mention anything about CM Punk Rock, are they? But still, at any rate, basically they were using this time to talk about the Flintstones and then talking about how the Great Gazoo was when the Flintstones jumped the shark, and then Jerry Lawler made me very happy by saying the only person that ever jumped the shark was Fonzie. I like the Happy Days reference. Good job, Jerry. I enjoyed that. Jerry, of course, in his element, he's being a big fan of the Cleveland Browns, so obviously being in Cleveland makes perfect sense. Don't forget, Jerry Lawler probably could have ran for mayor of Cleveland at one point, even though he's never lived there a day in his life. He may still have won. But at any rate, we'll talk about this tag match. This match was a little bit longer than I thought, and basically we'll start in with Big E getting the tag. Clothesline, belly to belly, whip in. Stardust gets sent into his partner. So, diving shoulder in the corner, sandwiches the Dust Brothers together. And overhead release belly to belly suplex, big splash on Stardust, and he gets stopped for the big ending. He gets pulled off. Goldust stops him again. So he gets knocked off. Beautiful Disaster connects. Kofi makes a save. Goldust tosses Kofi for good measure. Double whip, tag into Kofi. Kofi comes in and pulls Dust out of the ring. So Goldust is pulled to the outside, and that's it. They just pulled him to the outside. That's all they do. That's all they did. They didn't knock him down or anything. They just pulled him to the outside. It's do. So Stardust eats the new finisher, which is the Midnight Hour, which is the big ending facebuster combination, and that's the end of the match. New Day win. They needed to win, obviously, because they lost pretty much their debut, so you have to start building something with them if you're going to do anything with them. Tag team division very stagnant right now, so hopefully they'll pick it up sooner rather than later with the debuts of The Ascension, which apparently they did a vignette on SmackDown. The Ascension are sporting Road Warrior-style face paint, coming off looking very 80s, saying, welcome to the wasteland. I wasn't aware that they were that big of fans of Wade Barrett's finishing maneuver, but still, nonetheless, I hope they do something with the Ascension, because obviously they really need to freshen up the tag team division, because, like I said, Usos stale. And we'll talk about the Usos later on. So we got our first match of the evening. It is for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Luke Harper defending against hometown boy Dolph Ziggler, coming out wearing his Kent State hoodie and being announced not being from Hollywood, Florida, but being from Cleveland, Ohio, given the fact that Dolph Ziggler does hold a wrestling record in at Kent State University. So yeah, that was an interesting little way to look at things. So I like that. It was a nice little piece of continuity there. So let's pick it up from the midway point of the match. When Luke Harper nails Dolph Ziggler with a tope, and Dolph is holding the ladder. So Harper just charges in and nails the tope, setting the ladder into the face of Dolph. Immediately he starts clutching his wrist, so thinks that he may have at least stoved his wrist. I know he didn't break it, but he stoved his wrist for sure. So Dolph gets in, and they set up the ladder. He climbs up. Harper grabs the foot to cut him off, and Harper gets kicked off. So Harper shoves the ladder over, and Dolph basically goes ribs first across the top rope. Luke sets the ladder up in the corner in between the ropes, and basically, setting up your own demise. I've done it many times. So he rams the big ladder into Dolph, and he lays the ladder in the middle. He goes for the sit-out powerbomb, gets countered into the standing dropkick, which knocks Harper onto the ladder. He goes for the name dropper, gets caught, powerbomb on the ladder, set up in the corner, the one setting up your own demise. This time it actually worked to his advantage for a change, which doesn't normally happen. So he puts him across the bottom rope. He places the ladder on the face and goes for a slingshot into the middle rope like he normally does. But this time, when he slingshots him, Dolph goes face first into the rungs of the ladder. Really useful. So he pushes Dolph to the outside. Dolph is now busted open. And, of course, the trainer is right on top of it, trying to make sure that Dolph gets the cut sealed before... I feel like we have cut men in WWE now because of all the issues. So, yeah, since immediate collar means, oh god, we gotta make sure we stop it immediately, so they try to get the bleeding stopped as soon as possible. Harper's climbing up, and Dolph shoves the trainer aside, climbs up, and they trade punches on top of the ladder, and they both end up falling off the ladder. So Harper slides in the corner, slides in another ladder from the opposite side, and sets up Dolph for the powerbomb. Dolph counters in the Z-Factor onto the ladder. So Dolph sets up another ladder, and he starts climbing it up. Harper grabs the foot yet again, pulls him off the ladder, and Dolph counters into the exclamation point DDT. So Dolph tries to climb up the ladder, and he goes up to the top rope at this point, and Harper nails him with a ladder, and he goes Terry Funk style with the whirlybird, and he nails one or two times, but the third time's not a charm because Dolph just dims his running lights with a super kick. So Dolph rams Harper with the ladder and knocks him off onto a ladder that's perched between the ring apron and the announce table. Very ECW. So Dolph climbs up top with the ladder, and he rides the ladder to the opposite ladder. Dolph climbs up, Harper clubs him in the back, Harper sets up the ladder next to Dolph, and Harper gets super kicked off the ladder. Dolph climbs up, unhooks the Intercontinental Championship, and wins for the fourth time. Kind of surprised about this, actually. There's been a lot of pushing of Dolph Ziggler lately, and that's not a problem for me personally, but I don't know where Luke Harper goes from here. Obviously, we get a rematch. I would state we get a rematch. I don't know if we'll get a rematch at the Royal Rumble, because, like I said, we've got a couple weeks till the Royal Rumble. Granted, that's being generous. We got a month till the Royal Rumble, so, a little bit over a month, actually. I think about 41 days, something like that. So, yeah, we got a lot of time to build till then. Is Dolph going to be getting a rematch to Luke Harper, or are we going to get a new challenger for Ziggler in the Intercontinental Championship? Could go either way at this point. I'm not exactly sure where we're going to go here. I don't have a problem with doing another match between Harper and Ziggler. Good match, and it was one of those, we're going to try to steal the show. Basically, it's like, follow that. Like Bam Stone on Twitter was saying, like, follow that. Well, it's true. It's like, how are you going to follow this? You follow this up with the Usos. Yay. So we're doing this soap opera style storyline where Naomi apparently is being courted by The Miz for a music video, and to be introduced to these music video directors, they're going to jumpstart her singing career and make her into a superstar, and not as big as The Miz, of course, but a superstar nonetheless. Several rungs down from The Miz, obviously, because he's not going to want to make someone bigger than himself, obviously. But she's like, Miz, I see through you. I'm not going to play your games here. It's and then of course Jimmy Uso's involved, and since Jimmy Uso and Naomi are together, obviously they have issues there, and Jimmy pie-faced The Miz on Raw one night. It was funny because Jay was laughing in the background. So yeah, that's what we've got here, and this leads to a tag team title match. So the Usos taking on the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Hometown Boy, The Miz, and Damien Mizdow. So Mizdow and The Miz come out. Mizdow gets a great reaction. Miz does not get a hometown reaction. He actually gets a nice heel reaction from the crowd. The Usos come out with the Slammies, and Miz and Mizdow come out. Miz, of course, holding both WWE Tag Team Championships, and Mizdow, of course, has the fake championships, and The Miz, of course, took Mizdow's Slammy, and he has it for himself, and Mizdow comes out with his own, fake Slammy, so yeah. Once again, Mizdow working the Invisible Man on the outside. It's starting to become a little bit tedious at this point, and I'm a big fan of Damien Sandow. I really cannot wait till they blow this off. At WrestleMania, I have Sandow against The Miz, and then we jumpstart Damien Sandow into 2015. But we pick it up midway through. Miz with a chin lock on Jay. Jay punches his way out, catches the boot, spun around, and enziguri kick. Tags in Jimmy. Jimmy comes in, leaping clothesline, super kick to the side of the ribs, and uppercut, ducks the clothesline, Samoan drop, goes for the Rikishi special, and Mizdow goes to the opposite corner, because obviously he's got to sell too. And Jimmy's like, who am I going to point to? And he points at The Miz, and we're like, no, and then points to The Mizdow, and he's like, yay, and everything. So obviously, needless to say, he hits the Rikishi special on The Miz, and Mizdow with a distraction, and this allows for The Miz to nail a kick to the face for a 2 count off of that. Goes for the Miz line, gets countered into a backslide. Unique way to counter that move, actually. 1-2 and a kick out. And Miz charges in, eats the back elbow, Whisper in the Wind connects, and Mizdow makes the save. Instead of actually selling like The Miz, he actually makes a save for his partner for the first time in forever. So Jay sends him to the floor to booze, obviously. Miz hits the skull-crushing finale on Jay, and he goes for a single leg, goes for the figure 4 leg lock, gets countered, and this is useful. Jimmy Uso locks in Konnan's Tequila Sunrise, which was unique, because I've not seen anybody but Konnan use that move before. It's basically kind of like a Lamahi straw single crab is basically what it is. And if Konnan uses it as a Tequila Sunrise, and he almost got the submission right there, but Miz finally got to the bottom rope, so the referee called for the break. So a right hand, Miz goes for the skull-crushing finale, Uso flips him off, super kick, goes up top to the opposite corner, he's never going to hit it, obviously, so Miz powders to the outside, and he grabs the championships, and Mizdow follows suit, grabs his fake championships, and they go to leave. Well, Uso has the idea to go for the Samoan suicide dive. Miz tosses Mizdow into the path of it, and Miz nails Jimmy Uso with the Slammy right in front of the referee. Referee calls for the bell, and disqualification victory for Jimmy and Jay Uso. Miz nails Jay with the other Slammy, and basically they leave after that's over. They're trading, holding up the regular championships and the fake championships, and of course Mizdow getting a favorable reaction and Miz not so much. It was okay. I like Miz and Mizdow as a team. I really like how they're building to it. I do think we get the elimination at the Royal Rumble leading to their collapse, and of course leading to the match that they have at WrestleMania 31, which I know that's going to happen. The Usos, like I said, Usos stale. I really wish they'd like freshen them up a little bit. I don't really think there's anything you can do with them. Giving them new competition, but you really don't have any new competition. Enter the Ascension, so hopefully they'll come in sooner rather than later. This match was alright. Formulaic tag matches. I've seen good things about it. There's bad things about it. I do like the Tequila Sunrise being utilized on The Miz. I thought that worked really well. I have not seen that move since Conan, so like I tweeted out there, if you were following me on Twitter last night, you could see that I said something like, it's nice to see that the Usos are watching their old WCW Nitro footage to make sure they watch Conan to know how to put on the Tequila Sunrise properly. That's not the only move that gets ripped off on this show. Oh no, we'll talk about that in a minute. So up next we get a stairs match. Because, why not? The Big Show against Eric Rowan. Okay, now the Big Show, of course, has been on my last nerve for quite a while. And Eric Rowan is not the member of the Wyatt family that I would be pushing right now. But I believe it's alright. I mean, Rowan's okay. I mean, he's growing into his character. Apparently he's like an idiot savant now. He loves his Rubik's Cube. So we do this match, and hopefully it's used to build Eric Rowan and let the Big Show put him over. That's the reason I would believe this really makes sense to do. This match was, it was alright for what it was. At one point, Rowan sets up a wall of ringside steps. And it kind of looks to me like, I know a lot of people were talking about Tetris and everything, and I'm like a wall of stairs. I made a Jenga reference. Well, at one point, this ends up backfiring because the Big Show ends up harpooning Rowan through this setup here. So he clubs him in the back, he rolls him back in, and Eric Rowan ends up somehow getting up somehow, some way, and he kicks the steps in the Big Show's face. But he walks into the goozle and he gets chokeslammed on the top of the steps, and basically Big Show rabbit punches Rowan, knocks him cold. Lays the steps on Rowan's chest for good measure, putting the knee in the sternum, and he gets a 3 count. Yeah, whatever, don't care. This leads to Eric Rowan getting over on the Big Show. I have no use for this match at all. Eric Rowan needs to get over Big Show, not so much, unless they're going to push us another Big Show John Cena feud, which it looks like we're going to get. I'm going to guess we're getting a tag match on Raw tonight, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, up next, excuse me, which is officially the 5th match on the card, 4th match on the pay-per-view, is John Cena and Seth Rollins in a tables match. With the added caveat that if John Cena loses, he loses his number 1 contendership. Now, if Rollins wins, it doesn't really say anything. But, okay, there would be logic. I love it. Paul Heyman's at ringside, of course. He is on commentary, and he is trying to watch out to see which person is going to be facing off against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, because that's officially announced that the winner of this match, or in this case, basically the winner of this match would face off against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. So that pretty much just solidified who was going to win. So, at one point in this match, obviously, J&J Security, Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, kept attacking John Cena whenever Seth Rollins would get in trouble. Well, at one point, Cena breaks out a guardrail, and he ends up snap suplexing Jamie Noble on top of it. Mercury nails Cena, beats him down, and then Mercury and Rollins end up posting Cena. Mercury gets another table, They set up the table as a double team to ram into Cena and thus break the table across Cena's body. Well, Cena ducks, and they break the table alright, but across the ring post, so that doesn't work. Cena AAs Joey Mercury into the old school Justin Roberts land, which of course is the Timekeeper's area. So Rollins whips Cena into the barricade and sets up a table at ringside. He gets a table and he puts the table side by side. I thought we were going double tables for a minute, but apparently not. So obviously this finish is going to involve both men. I saw this immediately because it happened with Cena and Barrett, so yeah. I believe Cena and Sheamus. So Cena gets caught with a suplex, but it gets blocked. And blocked again, and Rollins is trying to suplex him from the apron to the floor, but going through the floor obviously would involve going through 2 tables. Well, Cena has none of it and suplexes Rollins back in the ring the hard way. They trade blows. He goes for the over-the-shoulder, does Cena, and of course, Rollins lands on his feet and nails Cena with a Skywalker. Whip in is blocked when they get back to their vertical base, and Cena blocks it twice. Goes for the AA, but in this case, he basically just backdrops Rollins over the top rope to the floor. Cena grabs a table of his own, and Rollins nails Cena in the ribs with the Money in the Bank briefcase. So he nails him in the back, and he hits him 3 times. He sets up another table. He says, "My time is now," and he goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle. And he gets caught the same way that Cena has been caught before, with a back kick. He goes for the AA, Rollins grabs the ropes, and of course his feet bump the ref. AA over the table, Rollins lands on his feet, leapfrogs over, leaping kick, Rollins up top, and Cena catches him in the right hand, climbs up to the middle turnbuckle, and puts him on his shoulders, AA through the table. No ref. Match over, but no ref. So match is still going. So Mercury and Noble get in the ring. They attack. They clear the ring of all evidence, basically. It's like they're clearing evidence out of the ring. So Mercury slides another table into the ring. They set it up, and they're going for the Cerberus bomb through the table. Cena stops it with punches, and he tosses Rollins, and he tosses Noble into Mercury, and this stacks them on top of each other. Cena picks up Mercury and Noble, and in the same fashion that Eric Young did in TNA with the Spicoli driver, he AAs both men through the table. So Rollins is on the shoulders, he lands on the ring apron, he goes for a powerbomb again, he gets punched out, goes for a hip toss, he gets blocked, and he grabs Rollins, and both men go off the ring apron through the table. Both refs declare a different winner. One ref says Cena, one ref says Rollins, and then the third ref gets in the ring and says this match has to restart. So we restart the match. Excuse me. Rollins clears the announce table, gets caught, AA on the table, not through the table. No break. And I believe Rollins kicked Michael Cole, or almost kicked Michael Cole. Cena grabs another table, puts it in the ring. Here comes the Big Show. Because, why not? So a gut shot, 2 gut shots, Goozle, goes for the choke slam. Here comes Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns makes his return, his long-awaited return to WWE from injury. Not coming through the back. No, Roman Reigns doesn't roll that way. He comes to the crowd, of course, wasting more time, but didn't matter because he got in the ring. Big Show was so dumbstruck that he saw Roman Reigns coming to the ring, he forgot to chokeslam John Cena, and he basically ended up fighting with Roman Reigns. Headbutt from Big Show. You don't headbutt a Samoan. He no-sells it. Superman punch, spears Big Show through the table in the corner. Rollins tries to nail him with the briefcase. He ducks it. Superman punch to Rollins. Rollins walks into the AA. Cena puts him right through the table, just as the referee wakes up. So, John Cena will be facing Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Excuse me. I have no issues with this. Unlike a lot of people in the IWC, I have no issues with this at all. I think it'll be a good match. Depends on who you put over at this point. Do you put Cena over, then have Rollins cash in? You could. Do you have Brock Lesnar win, then have Rollins cash in? Successfully? Unsuccessfully? You could. You have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble and face off against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31, and then have Seth Rollins cash in on Roman Reigns after he beats Brock Lesnar. That's what everybody's been predicting. But I hope not. I really do. I really don't want to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I don't want to see Roman Reigns win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I don't want to see Roman Reigns in this at all. I think Roman Reigns works with the Big Show, and that's fine. Speaking of the golden boy of WWE, Roman Reigns cuts a promo, freezes like a deer in headlights, stumbles over his words. Not the first time he got an unfavorable reaction this week. Obviously, at TakeOver, he kind of got booed. I know, I was there. But, and if you thought it was loud on television, it was even louder in person, especially when there's people around you booing. So yeah, it sounds to me, and it looks to me, like Roman Reigns is very slowly being Batista'd. He's not quite there yet, because there's still a crowd reaction for him. Like, some venues will put him over like he's the second coming, which is what WWE want. But, yes, I'm thinking we get John Cena and Roman Reigns against the Big Show and Seth Rollins on Raw tonight. Will it be a double tables match? Will it be a regular tables match? Obviously, they don't do double tables matches anymore. A regular tables match will just be a regular match. But I think that's your main event on Raw tonight, when Chris Jericho is in control. Because apparently Jericho's in control of Raw this week. Well, it's better than the anonymous general manager. It was okay for what it was. I mean, Cena and Rollins have great chemistry. I think that the stipulation kind of hurt the match a bit. Like, it was... I understand what they were trying to do, and it was a good match, but I mean, it wasn't a great match. I've seen better matches between the two. I saw a better match between the two on Raw. Take the stipulation away, give me John Cena and Seth Rollins one-on-one with no stupid interference, and we'd have fun. Even with the interference, we still will have fun. I like the tandem AA through the table on J&J Security. I thought that worked really well. I don't necessarily like Roman Reigns coming out, but I understand why it happened. Obviously, you have to have him make an impact, and he even talked about making an impact. He said it like 15 times. It was like a drinking game. With me, it'd have been drinking lemonade. But still, talk about making an impact. And if you're really going to strap the rocket to Roman Reigns, whether I like it or not, they're going to have to do something major. And having him save John Cena was something major. And having him punch the Big Show and punch Seth Rollins, something major. Puts him right back into the fans' perspective yet again. Whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. Speaking of whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. Divas Championship on the line next. Nikki Bella defending against AJ Lee. We're going to miss AJ when she's gone. We really will. Because the Divas Championship now is being pretty much like, it's like a prop for Total Divas. Like, the wrestling matches are not like stellar. Like, obviously Charlotte and Sasha Banks put on a tremendous match at TakeOver, but this match was not even close. The finish, let's talk about it. So Nikki locks in an inverted surfboard with a knee in the lower back. AJ tries to get up, but gets caught with a knee to the back. So Nikki learned to hammerlock front slam, and she gets a 2 off of that. Chinlock again, knee to the back, once more. AJ punches her way out, whip in, and AJ catches her with a hanging guillotine. She gets back into the corner, misses the charge. AJ catches her with a sunset flip, 1 count only. Ducks the clothesline. Both ladies have the same idea and both go down courtesy of a double clothesline. AJ catches Nikki with a Fez press, charging splash, reverse neckbreaker, 1-2 kick out, and whip in reverse, charges in, and AJ gets both knees up. Tornado DDT connects, 1-2, Nikki kicks out. Charges into a back elbow, Nikki with a double springboard into a kick, gets a 2 off of that. AJ maneuvers a wheelbarrow into a bulldog, gets a 2 off of that. Goes for the Shining Wizard and does connect, but Brie puts Nikki's foot on the bottom rope. So the referee sees this and tosses Brie out. Nikki uses this moment to spray perfume into the eyes of her opponent and basically showing how arrogant she can be, if you pick up what I'm putting down here. Maybe she's a real model after all. So she sprays the perfume in the eyes, and which may or may not have been arrogance. Probably not, but you never know. This allows for Nikki to catch AJ with a forearm, nail the rack attack in 1, 2, 3. You haven't really built anybody up to be challenger to Nikki. I would love to see Charlotte come up this way with the NXT Women's Championship and say the butterfly belt is a joke. And like this was mentioned on Twitter actually. Ric Flair, when he came to the WWF, he brought the NWA Championship with him. And they referred to that as the big gold belt. They even blurred it out so obviously no one would get in trouble for it. Any more so than they did already. Because obviously, before Flair left the company, he still had the possession of the NWA Championship. So he brought it on the television with him. Why can't Charlotte bring the WWE, or in this case, WWF Women's Championship onto the program? And talk about the lineage. Talk about names like Moolah and Sherry and all the superstars that have held the Women's Championship when it was about wrestling. And not about who's the cattier person on Total Divas. Which, by the way, another thing I'll mention, Naomi and Summer Rae are both off of this season of Total Divas. Now, granted, Paige is on the show, and that's fine. Alicia Fox, she's growing on me. No more Naomi. Uso's not on Total Divas anymore. No issues with that. But my girl Summer Rae, sucks she's not going to be on the show anymore. Yeah, Total Divas needs to bring Noelle Foley on the show. Yeah, that needs to happen. She needs to be on television every week. She really does. That would make me a lot happier to be recapping these shows. So, if AJ's gone, and she doesn't have one more match at the Rumble, or this was her last pay-per-view show, or she's going to take a break for a while, I mean, who else do you have? You're building Natalya somewhat, but not quite. You still could do stuff with Naomi. So, maybe The Miz finagles Naomi into a match against Nikki Bella, potentially. Showing that he, even though he's going to be smarmy about the whole thing, he's going to not go back on his word and still, what he said on the kickoff show basically is, if I'm still a champion by the end of the night, then it's going to work well in your favor. Which obviously made me believe immediately Naomi was going to get involved and cost the Usos the match, but that didn't happen. I have no idea why they would even bring that up unless that's what's going to happen. Unless it's going to happen down the line. Chairs match up next. Ryback and Kane. Don't care. Just don't care. I will hand it to Kane for using a unique maneuver. He actually put a chair on top of the top turnbuckle and went for snake eyes. He did connect. He got a 2 off of that. So, he gets caught with the chair in the ribs. So, he puts the chair in the middle. Does Kane. Suplex is blocked. Blocked again. Kane catches him with a DDT off the ropes. Onto the chair on Ryback. Gets a 2. Chair to the ribs. He charges in, Ryback kicks the chair into the face. Comes off the middle rope. Kane nails him for a 2. Sets the chair up. A goozle, stop, right hands, uppercut, and big boots Ryback off the chair because he was seated on the chair at one point. Gets a 2 off of that. Whips him in, charging clothesline in the corner. Charges in, Ryback with a belly-to-belly. So Kane kicks the chair into Ryback's face. Kane beats Ryback with a chair. Tosses 6 chairs in the ring. He sets up chair to chair. Goozle. Countered. Ryback with a spine buster through both chairs. He beats Kane with the chairs. He charges in, going for the meat hook. Kane smash mouths him. Smash mouths him, which basically is the old Kid Cash. I throw the chair into your face as hard as humanly possible. So, Ryback eats the choke slam. Kicks out at 2. Kane signals for the end, cuts the throat, goes for the tombstone. Ryback slides down the back, nails the meat hook, shell shock, 1, 2, 3. Don't care. Don't care. Gonna push Ryback. Kane just put the mask back on, get gear for him if he's going to be Corporate Kane. I don't know, he can't be Corporate Kane anymore, he's just Kane. He still looks like the deadbeat dad, though. I mean, he's not Corporate Kane anymore, so why can't you just, like, give him gear? Like, I don't like Congressman Jacob's backyard wrestler. I don't like that. I don't at all. I don't have a problem with Kane at all. And he has a great pedigree, and he's had a great run in WWE. I can't deny anything about that. I just don't like the current version of Kane at all. At all. So speaking of things that kind of got rushed way too quickly, it's United States title time. It's title time. Side Russian leg sweep's coming. Only 4 people that will get that reference. So, Rusev defending against Jack Swagger. Swagger basically getting built up again after already getting squashed like a grape by Rusev once. Lana comes out looking gorgeous as always, and she goes to cut a promo. Swagger cuts her off immediately, of course. You hurt Zeb, you hurt America, stuff like that. It's kind of funny that Jack Swagger is all American-made and everything, and he's wearing black and white. Yeah, when you think he'd be wearing, like, Kurt Angle style, like, singlet, like red, white, and blue, no, didn't happen. I might have thought he might have had a snowball's chance if he actually would have done that, but no, I'm sure that something was going to happen tonight, and of course it did. So, the 1 page of notes I have for this match. So Swagger hits a Swagger bomb, but he finds nothing but Rusev moving out of the way. Muay Thai kick countered into the Patriot Lock, and he basically gets muscled into the Accolade. Swagger picks up Rusev on his back, and it gets countered into the Patriot Lock again. Rusev kicks him straight in the face. Excuse me, to break the hold. Swagger's to the floor to try to take advantage. He eats the Muay Thai kick. Rusev's back in at 5. Swagger gets in at 10. Muay Thai kick, Accolade. Referee stops it. So there was a Instagram picture from Lana. I probably shouldn't have got out yet. With a hashtag of Raw sporting the European Championship. And not the WWF European Championship. It had the New School WWE Network logo. And it said World Wrestling Entertainment on it and everything. So it makes me think that the United States Championship is either going to be retired, or they're going to basically have Rusev carry 2 championships. He's going to cut a promo tonight on Raw. Something to the extent of, I am your champion, but you people have to understand that you are an inferior country, and I want to hold a championship of a country that I truly believe in. And then they bring out the European Championship, like Lana could give him the European Championship. Now, in a perfect world, what I'd like to see happen here, Rusev gets given the European Championship. Either it can be presented it, or Lana gives it to him as a present, or he just brings it out as like the U.S. title. Like he spits on it, Iron Sheik style, and he just tosses it down. It's like, I don't want to be a champion of your United States. I'm not going to be a champion of a country that pretty much tried to force me and Lana to recite your Pledge of Allegiance just to prove a point. My point here is that you people are inferior, and so is your championship, and I don't care about your lineage. It means nothing. I start over today as the new European champion. This brings out Cesaro. Cesaro comes out, and finally, we get a real challenger for Rusev. Someone that people believe can actually beat Rusev. No offense to Jack Swagger, but if they would have done the thing they did that I said with Hulk Hogan coming in, put in Swagger's corner, and against Rusev, they could have done something with that, but they didn't. And they're not running Rusev and The Rock anytime soon, so they didn't do anything with that either. It was a one-time only thing to pop the crowd, and a ratings point here and there. Cesaro comes out. Rusev and Cesaro get into it. Rusev hits the giant swing on Rusev. Wow. Gets hit with a giant swing. Cesaro is now a babyface. He has rejuvenated his career like he should have after he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal last year at WrestleMania. Or technically it's still this year at WrestleMania because it's still 2014 for another couple days. Couple weeks. I forget what day it is nowadays. Sorry. 10 days. 10 days till Christmas. I have no idea why I brought that up. Yeah. A couple weeks till 2014's over, so yeah. I have no idea what I'm talking about here. But I think this is money. And I think we do a match with Rusev and Cesaro for the European Championship at the Royal Rumble. I think that's a great idea. It's a great direction to go. Cesaro is now rejuvenated. Cesaro is now babyface. Cesaro is now being the king of swing again. And we have a lot of fun with this. And Rusev actually has someone that he may not be able to get past. Whether he does or not is inconsequential. But when it comes down to it, it's a great program that I really think they could utilize. But they have to rebuild up Cesaro first. Perfect way to do it is after Rusev brings back the European Championship, if that's truly what's going to happen tonight on Raw, and I believe it will. You have Cesaro come out, and he basically says, you can't be the champion of Europe because obviously you don't understand, like, European culture, and we don't bring out D'Lo Brown, obviously, because he works for TNA, but still, it would be fun. I want to see Cesaro and Rusev in a feud. Be good matches. Main event time. TLC actually going to cap off the TLC pay-per-view. It is Dean Ambrose against Bray Wyatt. This match was, it was good. It was brutal. It was violent. Tad bit repetitive. Count them 3 ladder to table spots. Alright. So let's talk about that, shall we? So Bray gets elbow dropped through a table on the outside, off a ladder. And Bray gets put on another table. Ambrose climbs up a bigger ladder and elbows Bray back through the table. Ambrose carries Bray in, tosses him in. Ambrose gets in, walks right into Sister Abigail, 1-2, and a kick out. Sister Abigail countered, roll up, 1-2, and a kick out. Bray misses the charge, and he gets sent hard into the ladder. The double arm DDT, 1-2, and Bray kicks out. Ambrose grabs a TV monitor from under the ring and kind of watches himself a bit. Ambrose gets a devilish look in his eye and realizes he needs to do something major. So he goes up the ramp, he grabs the tallest ladder he can find. About 20-25 foot ladder. Drags it to the ring, sets the ladder up next to the announce table. He politely asks the Spanish announce team to get the heck out of Dodge. And they oblige him, obviously. This has allowed Bray to finally get his win back. And when Ambrose goes back over to Bray, he gets nailed in the ribs with a chair. So Bray wears him out with chair shots to the back and then a headbutt. And he does the same thing he did on SmackDown with putting the chair under the throat and ramming him into the steel steps. But it gets blocked, and Ambrose does it to him. He puts Bray on the announce table. He climbs up the 25-foot ladder, dives off, elbows Bray through the table. Bray's down and out. So, Ambrose puts Bray in the ring. He grabs the TV. He grabs the flat screen monitor for whatever reason to basically do pretty much what Shawn Michaels did to Sid at Survivor Series with the camera. Like the video camera, what they wanted to do with that. They're doing it with a TV monitor. So he goes to pull it, and the cord, does not want to go. The cord stops him. But he goes to pull it again, and the TV basically explodes in his face. So, Ambrose is blinded. The TV is exploded into his face. And he eats Sister Abigail, 1, 2, 3. Alright. I'm not sure where we're going with this. And after the match was over, it's weird because Bray Wyatt didn't celebrate. He kind of knocked some things over. It seemed like it didn't really go exactly like it was supposed to. Like, you could tell that it was supposed to explode in his face. I get that. I'm gonna go back to like King of the Ring '93 with like the flash paper from the cameraman throwing it into Hulk Hogan's face, which led to Yokozuna winning the WWF Championship. I get that. I understand what they were trying to do. However, I don't think it went over the right way, and Ambrose was kind of made to be somewhat of a laughingstock. Yeah, which sucks, because it was a really good match. Good, brutal, intense match. Good back and forth match. But, like I said at the beginning of this review, when it comes down to it, I really wish they would have done a little bit more. Dean Ambrose elbow dropping Bray Wyatt through a table off a ladder 3 times, from different heights, obviously, but still a little bit repetitive. And yeah, it's basically all we did there. I mean, Ambrose has a TV explode in his face, and he eats Sister Abigail, and that's the end. Not a good finish that I can see. I think the TV was supposed to explode in the face, but I think the cord thing didn't really work. So yeah, obviously the TV was gimmicked, because obviously it's not going to work otherwise. But pulling on the cord and everything just made it rather comical. I'm not going to lie. It was alright. Kudos to them for having such a brutal match. I know they're going to have a lot of welts on their body today when they wake up. I'm sure they will. The feud will continue, obviously. I really like to see a more brutal match between these two, like a brutal stipulation. TLC is one thing. I called a long time ago these two need to do a barbed wire match. WWE, I don't think that will ever happen. But it could be a lot of things. Like, Ambrose could light the table on fire. It didn't really do that. Could have happened. I don't call for an Inferno match between these two, because why? So, maybe electrified cage. There's a lot of things you can do with this. Like an old school, like Texas Death Match. Maybe like a bull rope match, something like that. Chain match. Just like go old school with this. I mean, like, if this was the 80s or the 70s, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt would be battling in high school gyms and fairgrounds and arenas all across the country every single night. This is a feud that would be like an old school Florida Championship Wrestling feud. Like, I can imagine the late great Gordon Soley, one of the greatest announcers in the history of our business, calling Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt, just beating the hell out of each other, night in and night out, from city to city, from state to state. That's what I want to see. I want this to be old school. I love the mind games, that's fine. But I want this to be an old school feud. You know, honestly, bring back Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal to do it between these two. Because Bray Wyatt, I mean, he is... Both of these men can stake claim to be like the new age version of Cactus Jack. Ambrose, he's done a lot more extreme things than Bray Wyatt has, but Bray Wyatt didn't really go through, like, CZW or anything like that, so he obviously has it in him, but we haven't really seen it yet. It's scary to think what possibly could happen between these two. I know it continues, and I know that it's going to be a lot of fun going forward. So, Bray needed to win, he did win, and I'm glad he did win. Isn't he? On the pay-per-view, opening match, well, the New Day against Goldust and Stardust is alright. Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper catch this match. This match was fun. Two superstars have great chemistry in the ring. They don't mind bumping like pinballs. Ziggler wants to Kurt Hennig his way through life. I have no issues with that. But he needs to slow down a bit. He did slow down a tad bit tonight, which was alright. Ziggler is met with a perfect foil in Luke Harper, because Harper is excellent, and it's really awesome because Harper obviously has a pedigree in Cleveland himself, working a lot of shows for like PWO, and I know he worked for AIW at a time. He's worked a lot in Cleveland as well, so this was like a straight up Cleveland match. But Usos against Miz and Mizdow. Formulaic tag match is alright. Don't know where we're going with this. I'd say a rematch between the two. Maybe a cage match, potentially. I don't know. Big Show and Eric Rowan. I guess it continues. Stair stipulation. Never again. That match just didn't work. It was okay. Wrong person went over. Because I really need to put Eric Rowan over, like, immediately. And they didn't. John Cena and Seth Rollins was fine. It was no issues. Roman Reigns coming out, no matter if I like it or not, needed to happen. Need to make the save. Obviously, we're building to Roman Reigns and Big Show, like, short program. So, that's fine. Keep him away from the title for a while. Keep him away from Lesnar. Maybe let him build himself up again. This will be his first, like, program back from injury. We're going to the Big Show, that's fine. I have no issues with that. So, like, spear versus spear, they could actually put that over if they really want to. AJ and Nikki, it was what it was. After the tremendous match that was Charlotte and Sasha at TakeOver, this match was really an afterthought. Ryback and Kane, chairs match, it was what it was. Swagger and Rusev, don't have any idea what they're doing with this. I really hope this leads to Rusev and Cesaro for the European Championship if they're going to go that direction. If not, I still hope it leads to Cesaro and Rusev, because it's weird. I think what they should have done, what I think they should do on Raw tonight, if they don't go ahead and do the European Championship, or even if they do, and they don't go forward with what I said, how about you do one last match, have Rusev try to permanently injure Jack Swagger, and have Cesaro be the one that makes a save. Because obviously, even though they don't see eye to eye when it comes down to it, he still knows that his friend is in some danger, so Cesaro can make the save for Jack Swagger. Maybe not necessarily reform the Real Americans, but you do something like that. And that could be the reason why we get Cesaro and Rusev. That also could happen as well. That's an idea that you could go with. Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, I really can't wait to see what's coming next. What's going to happen at the Royal Rumble between these two. Should be really fun. So, yeah. Was it better than TakeOver? No, not even close. Was most of it skippable, most of it raw stuff? Yeah, pretty much. But, I mean, Dolph and Harper was worth it. Rollins and Cena was worth it. And Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose was worth it. Everything else was kind of just raw filler. But that's what you got with pay-per-views nowadays. So, yeah. So tomorrow, I finally get to talk NXT TakeOver Our Evolution, the live event perspective. That's going to be on today's video, actually. So yeah, we're going to be doing 2 wrestling recaps today, since it is Monday. So, 2 wrestling recaps today. So that's something to look forward to. So, TakeOver and TLC in the same day. And of course, tomorrow is Raw. Wednesday, the Vlog of Randomness, to be announced. We'll find out what that's going to be. Thursday, we're going to be doing a Sip and Snack. Friday, AJ's movie reviews. We're going to talk about The Hobbit and Annie, as well as Night Museum. That's going to be talked about, and a lot of stuff coming. We have a special Christmas-themed, on Christmas Day, version of Sip and Snack, which is coming at you, not this Thursday, but next. We're going to get our, today, obviously it's not, because it's Monday, technically, because it's officially after midnight now, but I will state that today we get our Critics' Choice Awards nominations, so we're going to talk about those very soon here on this channel. Awards content will continue very soon, and I will actually be giving my predictions for all Academy Awards categories on this final video of 2014 for our Oscar predictions. A lot of filming to be done on New Year's, so a lot of videos still to come. I have some more content from Busch Gardens, from their Christmas events that are coming very soon. And I actually have a little bit of fan cam footage of Sami Zayn's celebration after winning the NXT Championship at TakeOver Our Evolution. It'll be up on Pop very soon as well, so check that out. So as always, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe to help spread the word about Pop. If you haven't yet, go to Facebook, click like on our Facebook fan page. It's Sir Owen Disney Pop. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. If you'd like to send me your friend request on Facebook, go right ahead. It's Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, you want to talk WWE with me, you want to talk about the new TNA contract with Destination America, we can talk about that. Talk about my thoughts on CM Punk and the UFC, my thoughts on the Vince McMahon podcast, all of the different things that have happened in the last few weeks of wrestling. Whether I've talked about it here or not, I can talk about it on email, or if you have ideas for Sip and Snack, or Versus, or Vlogs of Randomness. Or if you'd like to become a popcaster yourself, you can send your content to suroanddisney@gmail.com. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.